Yeah, kind of want to talk about today is, we here we going into 2024, and a lot of things are being revealed in 2024. We see a lot of things coming to light. The Lord is lifting the veil, so to speak, on a lot of things that's going on in this world. And let me start off with scripture on that. Kind of going through the spirit today. Didn't really put this lesson together, but I'm kind of go through the spirit and put this lesson together. Scripture. Bear with me for a second. 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 16. Um, 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 16. Nevertheless, when it shall turn to the Lord Yahweh, the veil shall be taken away. Now we're in a time now where that veil has been lifted and a lot of things are being revealed, man. 2024 has really started off with a lot of things starting to come out. They're talking about the Epstein thing, names being revealed. That's supposed to be dropping. Then you had this Cat Williams thing. He's coming out here with a lot of truths and things on the internet. We had the earthquakes and just a lot of things already at the beginning of this year. And Lord will know that this will be the year that the Lord, cut loose, that he come and fulfill all these prophecies, the last few prophecies that, was spoken of. And one of the things too that's being revealed, because a lot of things are starting to come out now through the media airways, through these social media sites like TikTok, YouTube, just to name a few, Rumble, and a lot of truth is being revealed through Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shah, putting that spirit in the air. Because all these things has been hid because Babylon being the land, the shadow of death, the land of darkness, was able to keep the people in gross darkness, through its media, through its propaganda and all those things. And with all that being said, first of all, let me give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Barakateh Yahweh, Barakateh Yahweh Shah, Barakateh Yahweh, Barakateh Yahweh Shah, Barakateh Yahweh, Barakateh Yahweh Shah, the water, Kwam Yasharallah, and give double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone that teach this truth. And I'm just going to kind of elaborate on some of these things that are starting to come out into the light, and one of them being the so-called rat experiments. But one thing about this devil, he does a diligent search. He always has his laboratories, his scientists, his think groups, his think tank groups that they get together and conspire. And there's been a lot of laboratory experiments that kind of relate to how they put us in these experiments, our people, because us being in subjection up under them, they're able to put us into these experimental, projects or communities where they gather us up together, pretty much corral us into these overpopulated areas, and think about it, all this land all over America, but yet they join us together in these small group pockets and where they can same thing they did with Gad, on reservations, all this vast land, but they're gonna put you in the harshest part or inhospitable land, and there they're gonna congregate you, and there they're going to do what they want to do to you, all type of biological, psychological, and chemical warfare on the people. And same thing do with Judah in these ghettos and Issachar and the southern kingdoms and the barrios, So these devils kind of keep these groups separated, but at the same time they put them in these lockdown tight, pretty much a prison system. Once you have these ghettos, man, they're nothing but a prison system. And this is one of the things I wanted to kind of hit on about some of these experiments that they did. Let me see if I can pull. I downloaded a few, and I wanted to kind of run through them real quick.
My cousin's sister.
We've been talking a little bit about the rat utopia experiment. Have you ever heard of that?
No, it sounds lovely.
I don't know too much about it other than people have chatted us about it, but the general premise was that they created the space where they put a bunch of rats in this,
And the scientist's name was Tyrone. He did an experiment back, I think it was back 1948 or 43, something like that, with these rats, and he had them in a controlled environment. And it's kind of significant to the movie that they have, Cloning Tyrone. One thing we have to understand is never no coincidence in things that these devils do. Everything is always orchestrated and pre-planned on what they're going to do. It's like the movie They Clone Tyrone. It kind of gives you a breakdown of how they do us in these communities, man. They pretty much clone the next generation of our people, and by control through the propaganda, through the music, through the media, through keeping in these tight-knit communities where they're able to come in and just pretty much experiment on our people. But let me go ahead and play this, let you listen to this video.
Kind of thing, unlimited food and water, not a care in the world, no threats. And eventually they populated to a certain point. Then they started changing. Some stopped having sex altogether, some stopped eating, some just started dying. I think some started becoming cannibals. It was really brutal. Once they reached a certain level of crowding and population, weird things started happening in their rat society. I wonder if humans have reached a point like that, and I think that's why people bring it up, to where maybe the reason we're not in families anymore is because we got a ton of people on the planet as it is, especially psychologically.
Well, he's kind of going off there too, though. But the psychological effects of it, they in our communities, they had rats were starting to rob each other, started to take from each other, and just all type of weird things that happened with the rats. Now the rats that were like in the white gated communities where you got houses that's kind of separated, that's not on top of each other, the rats function very perfectly. They got along, they and work well together. But the ones that were congregated together, they became almost like very degenerate. They were attacking each other and just sodomizing each other, and that's all type of weird stuff that was going on in their sight. Now they just kind of looking at it from a European aspect of it, but I'm kind of forward along in this.
Become taboo in society, so that's an example of not overpopulating. Is it taboo? For the most part, polygamy is kind of looked down upon in modern America.
Promiscuity is through the roof, and not having
Let me skip
something
that.
called the Tyrone Maze Rat Experiment. Y'all need to look that up. It's called the Tyrone's Maze Rat Experiment. It went down in 1940. He ended up getting it from another psychiatrist in 1840. It's called the Tyrone Maze Rat Experiment. And what they did was they took a few hundred rats, right, and they splitted them and they divided them. And what they did was they created an environment for both of these rats to live in. In one subject, they took about 100 rats and they put it in an environment where it had clean water. They put it in an environment where it had the right amount of space for the rats can, get, basically if they wanted to be by themselves, they could. They made sure that it was good food in there that didn't have any type of poisons put inside the foods. They even gave them space to breathe, to go upstairs, downstairs. They just gave them this abundant environment, right? They put these rats in there. Mind you, these are the same rats with the same genetical molecular structure, which is nothing different. They both came from the same mama, the same daddy, the same family tree, right? So they took these rats, they put one in a good environment, then they put the other 100 rats in a bad environment where they didn't get water. If they did get water, the water actually had acids in it. They made sure they didn't give them the regular food. I think they gave them like cat food or something like that with a bunch of pellets that was inside of them, right? They stuck them on top of each other. and they made sure that the space was very, very small. They never cleaned any poop out of the maze. They never cleaned they piss out of the maze, and they left them in there. They left them in there for 4 months, and they watched how their behavior changed. They went back and they got the actual rats that came from the good environment, and they put them in the maze. They ended up going through the maze very, very fast. Then they ended up going to get the rats that they put in the bad environment and put them in the maze, and they didn't know how to even make it through the first section of the maze. So he like, maybe this is a coincidence. So he did it. So what he did was he switched the rats. He took the rats that was smart, that made it through the maze, that was in the good environment, and he put them in the bad environment. Then he took the rats that was in the bad environment, that was dummies that couldn't make it through the maze at all, and he put them in the good environment. He waited 4 months. Then he took them back out. The same rats that was good and smart, that was in a good environment, that he put in a bad environment, now they couldn't make it through the maze. The same rats that was in the bad environments, that was dummies that couldn't make it through the maze, he put them in a good environment. Now they making it through the maze and making it through life just fine. So he said, damn, it ain't the genetics. It ain't who these people is as individuals. It's the community. It's the environment that you put these biological entities in that changes the way they interact with their environment and with themselves. Did you know he did another 6-month experiment on the same rats that he left in the bad environment? Guess what they started doing? Killing each other. Some of the male rats started humping other male rats. Homosexuality. Look, the other rats that was at the bottom that didn't have the food, these niggas went upstairs to the other rats and started robbing them for food and water. I said, damn, this sound like your typical project. Don't this sound like the PJs? This is a real rat experiment. So it made me start questioning. I had to sit back and really rub my chin.
They turned into robbing rats?
They turned into robbing, homosexual
What else are you gonna do?
rats.
It's a survival mechanism at this point.
Now check this out though, guys. It was a selective group of female rats, and I really want y'all to look this up when y'all get home today. Watch this. It will fuck your mind up. The female rats, they started pampering themselves. They used to let their children just do what the fuck ever. They started pampering themselves. All they was worried about
hood rats. Which one of these?
See, these was the hood rats.
Okay.
The hood rats, right, exactly. So the hood rats, I'm gonna quote that. The hood rats, all they did was pamper themselves. The only thing that they worried about was their fur. They worried about their weight. They didn't worry about their children anymore. They weren't worried about the mama papa rat. The only thing that they focused on was their actual selves. And then the father rat started going to other different parts of the actual rat experiment cage.
Well, I'm gonna stop it right there, but gives you a pretty good lay down and breakdown on what he's talking about. And this brother, he's one of those like Hotep, all black, African type, those type groups, but they don't have the 100% truth, and they have a lot of truth though. They give a lot of understanding, but they don't have the understanding of why these things are happening on earth. And the Bible tells us why these things are happening, because we're going through the curses for one, and then we're up under subjection up under these devils, man. The Lord's using these devils to put this on us as a whipping stick, man, for our correction, man, for going the hell off, worshiping these other gods. And it's another experiment too that I want to kind of catch, but that gives you a breakdown of why they have us in these damn ghettos, man, where these project communities, Section 8 communities and shit like that, and you see all the debauchery that's going on, the killing, the murder, the thotism, the girls becoming whores, and all these things are orchestrated by our oppressors. And that's why they give you the type of music they feed into the communities, the type of media that they allow to go into those communities, man. Nothing that's going to be nation building. Everything's going to be negative and destructive. And here's another one I wanted to kind of hit on. Damn, I thought I had it in here. Where there's one experiment where they, see if I can pull it up real quick. The rat experiment. Okay, yeah, here it is right here.
One of the criticisms
criticisms of the anti-sugar scientists is that too much of their evidence comes from animals, not humans. That said, here at Brown University in Rhode Island, they're doing studies they think should make a lot of humans nervous. This rat is perfectly healthy. Put him in a vat of water and he finds his way to safety every time.
5.2.
Now, look at this guy. What he's been eating is the equivalent of a North American diet, complete with all the fats and sugars we regularly consume. He doesn't know where to go. His brain has been damaged.
These rats were totally normal, and then they turned into demented animals.
So you think about that now. You got the harsh environmental conditions that they put Jake in these communities, these rat-infested communities for one. These dilapidated, housing communities, projects. The type of water, they bring the water in, that's lead contaminated. They have that in a lot of cities, mainly all your cities, but they kind of focus on like Ohio and Alabama or Mississippi, one of them. The water has lead in it. You already know the effects of lead on the body, what it does to the brain and, developing effects, especially in young kids. Then you have the lead paint that they didn't put in there. The asbestos, the stuff they didn't had in all the material that they build these houses. Then you factor in the bad diet. All these communities in those areas, man. You go in any of those Jake communities, man, nothing but fast food restaurants, Then the grocery stores that they do have, they're not Whole Foods. They usually these low budget grocery stores with bad meat. Everything is processed, usually in those stores. The fruits and vegetables, man, you go in some of them places, shit is like third hand, shit that need to be in the garbage. So all these things are done to, you can see the effects that it has on the psyche of Jake, and then the bad foods, it affects your mental capacity of how you're going to think, how you're going to function, how you're going to move in society. So all these things is, is part of the sport of Esau Edom. Then you factor in the facts when they come in with these so-called vaccines that they put in, that they shoot into the kids, man. So they know these experiments, man, and they do a diligent search on things that they've done, on our people. So they know the effects of having a bad diet. So what they naturally do, they put foods in there that's going to destroy Jake's mental ability. That's what they're going to pump it into those communities. The bad water, the food, then they shit that they pumping into the air through these chemtrails, man. It's all our warfare on our people, man. It's just been going on, since we've been in the hands of these devils. There was another experiment too that I wanted to pull up, but they know the effects of not having a dad in the household. And that's called there was things in South Africa where they had these elephants. They put a lot of young elephants into this reserve park, into the reserve that they had, and then they had the females, but they took all the bull elephants out, just these young male elephants. The young male elephants was tearing up everything, and they noticed that only way to get control and to have control in the park, they had to put the bull elephants, that's meaning the older elephants, the men, back into that park to help control these young teenage elephants. And all it took was a few to bring back control and stability back to that park, man. Because when they took the male out, all hell was breaking out, and they was killing, tearing up the park, killing all the other animals, and just out of control, because they knew once those teenage elephants started coming into puberty, they had to be put in check by the bull elephants. So they know that's very effective in animal society and human society. So let me hit some precepts real quick. One I want to get where the one was talking about a house touching a house. might not be able to let me pull it up. It's not pulling up. Dang, put in the wrong thing. You got to put in the right thing in here to get the scripture that you wanted, but it's not pulling it up. What I'm looking for.